Hi, we are the Group 3 and we are here to do an article review on Forget Developing Poor Countries, It's Time to De-Develop Rich Countries by Jason Heikel. This article is intended for adults that are concerned about the status of the world. The purpose of this article is to inform the masses that growth is not an option anymore, and it is just a mere propaganda of the government to still continue doing their business. Moreover, instead of pushing poorer countries to catch up with the rich ones, the article says that we should be thinking ways to bring rich countries to catch down to a more appropriate levels of development. We should look and learn from societies where people live long and happy at a relatively low levels of income and consumption as an example of efficient way of living.
This is the first time that we have seen the article and we don't have any idea until we read the title. As the title states, forget developing poor countries, it's time to develop rich countries. We basically had the idea that this is about world politics and Earth overall well-being. Why do we need to stop developing poor countries? And instead, we need to develop the rich ones. The author and the central figure of this article is Jason Heikel. He has a renewed anthropology and known to have a very strong economic option. The event mentioned in the article is signing on of UN's new Sustainable Development Goals SDGs that may mean renewed figure attend.
Jason stated that the overall objective of this event is to end poverty by the use of growth, which is 70 years ago was proven. There is this economics mentioned in the article named Peter Edward the argues instead of pushing poorer countries to catch up with rich ones, we should be thinking of ways to get rich countries to catch down to more appropriate level of development. We should look at society where people live long and happy at relative low levels of income and consumption as an example of. In light of this, Jason stated that we should regard such countries not as undeveloped but rather as appropriate, developed, and we need to start calling on the rich countries to justify their existence.
The objective of this article is not about giving anything up, and it's certainly not about living a life of voluntary misery or imposing harsh limits on the human potential. On the contrary, it's about reaching a higher level of understanding and consciousness for a better world.
The part that we like the most in the article is when the author is imposing that we should learn from other societies where people live long and happy at a relatively low income and makes it out as an efficient way of living. The lesson here is that do not take things for granted.
The main drawback of this article is that when it says to stop developing poor countries, for us, we can still de-develop rich countries while the poor countries can continue to develop until the two meets at the middle. We will gladly recommend this article for everyone to read and understand the message that the article has.